All right, now we're in the middle of the season, coming off our bye week. We got the bye week light coming against the Texans. I mean, nothing's guaranteed in the NFL, but this is as close to guaranteed, I'd say, as can be expected, barring injuries. So I want to take a moment to do an analytics diagnostic on Tua, he's a top story. He's the top story of the season. You might want to say McDaniel's a top story, and but Tua's right there. It's so hard to operate in the NFL without a good quarterback. Dolphins spent the 5th overall pick. So this is a huge, huge evaluation considering he's got his 5th-year option coming up very soon. So this is as big a storyline as there is in the Dolphins 2022 season. Now, I know today's media, especially in sports, it's about telling you what to think. It's about, I have an opinion, and you got to think my way, and here's why. I like that stuff, and I even do it here on occasion. But I do believe in the old style, whereas you give somebody information and let them think for themselves. I've always been a rebel, and I've always believed in thinking for yourself. So what I'm going to do here is create this analytics diagnostic. I'm going to have graphics. I'm going to show you a broad-based information onto a season thus far with some underlining context. It's not going to go on long, but you'll have the visual information to create your own image of where Tua is now. So you can, at this moment, use it in reflection of his past, which is already set in stone. And you can see where the kids come, which is obviously pretty good, right? And then we can use that for the end of the season, wherever that may be, maybe the Super Bowl, I don't know, we'll see, to see what this kid's floor is, and if he does make it to the highest level, what's his ceiling as a glimpse. I'm not going to give my opinion on that. I've been saying for 2 years what I've thought. I had some guy who doesn't even listen to me, or he's crazy, saying, you were talking bad about Tua, and now you're talking good. You're just another talking head. I mean, I don't know. I did 4 hours of film going to the 2021 season showing how his platform was messed up, looking at it 2018, saying this kid's going to be all right. Just got to get his platform and his healing. And I stood by this kid and stuck up for him. And now they're saying, because I always say he's not the greatest quarterback since sliced bread, because the hyperbole one way is just as bad as the other. So I believe this kid was going to have a successful season this year. I believe he's going to be between 15th and 8th. And I'll spoil the goods. Clearly, he's playing like an MVP at this point, and even higher than what I thought. If that means talking bad by not saying he's going to be a top 5 quarterback this year, then I guess I'm guilty as charged. But if you're not insane, then that's not correct. So that's all I'm going to say as far as my opinion on Tua, other than obviously he's playing good, really good. I'm going to get into have graphics, and you guys can have your own information and your own opinion. But first, I want to say thank you for stopping by. I want to give a shout out to AcePerHead, my sponsor, because without you, without them, this show ain't going down. AcePerHead's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, I'm going to start off with the baseline stats that everybody knows and sees. I'm going to use that as the foundation, and then I'm going to build on top of that and use some underpinnings of context. So here we go. Tua, he's only played 8 games, so it's 2 less than a lot of these other quarterbacks. And so some of the stats, it matters. Some of it, it doesn't. So let's go. 15th in yards, 2,265. And if we compare it to 2021, he had 2,653 in 12 games. So in 4 less games, he has 400 less yards. His yards per game is 283, which is 4th. Last year, he averaged 204. Big step up. TDs, he's ranked 5th at 18. Ints, the lowest, one of the lowest in the league, 32nd with 3. His completion percentage is 71%, second best. Yards per attempt, 9.1, first. Yards per catch, 12.9, first. That's good, right? Okay, hold on to that. Let's get into the underneath stats to build on top of this, the stats that most people don't pay attention to further flesh out what we're seeing. Tua's intended air yards is 8.8, third or fourth. That means the offense intention is to throw deep, third or fourth most in the league. Court air yards is 8.3, first. Per attempt, 5.9, first. Yak, 4.6, 29th, so he's not getting a lot of help from his receivers. On target percentage, 80.6, which is second, which means he's the second most accurate thrower, not just by percentage, by actual throws in the league. He has his fourth quarter comebacks are 2, and he has 2 game-winning touchdowns, which is 2, which means in both those fourth quarter comebacks, he drove down for the win. Bad throw percentage is 20th least at 14.0. So he's throwing some bad balls, but he's still top third in the league. And then his red zone rating is 113, which is number 1 in the NFL. So Tua, we were told by a lot of people, not by me, that he couldn't have a vertical offense. He has the number 1 vertical offense in really basically every metrics. And the air yards means that he's throwing that football farther than anyone on a consistent basis in the NFL. And the low yak yards means they're not giving him his yards and touchdowns. It's actually really low. So you would think Hill and Waddle getting the ball and running for big. No, it's not really that. He's throwing the football and that they're getting a football and then kind of stopping. So it's really a lot about what Tua is doing. There's context to that, but I'm not going to get into that here. So now I want to get into the mitigating factors, things that are deleterious effects on his game to show, well, how much is he being compromised? Where is he being compromised? And this can help us as context to understand the rest of the stats. So sacks, he's 8th least at 36. His drop percentage is 20th at 5%. So he's not getting a lot of drops. He's not getting a lot of sacks, obviously. Batted balls, only 3, 31st best, or 31st least. So second best. Pressure is 18.3, 24th least. So that would be 8th or 9th best, 8th best. PFF is ranking him number 1 at 91.5. The PFF grade is not a deleterious effect, but I want to use that last stat right there as a platform for the next bunch of stats to talk about the influx of talent. And the way to do that in the most expedient way is to use PFF. And so he's ranked number 1, but when you see all these other stats, you can clearly see that PFF in this regard is not off their rocker. Yes, I do agree that their overall stats, their rankings can be a little bit here, a little bit there. I really like their individual grades. I like their stats, but I'm just trying to do it in an expedient manner to show that the framework has always been the problem with Tua. This doesn't say the influx of talent is making Tua good, but clearly it does have some effect. And you can clearly see that the deleterious effects of sacks and bad balls and pressure is very low compared to last year. And any quarterback is affected by this. Even the great Tom Brady. Some people say he's not great. I don't like the guy. I think he's a little bit overinflated in some areas, but the guy's an unbelievable quarterback. It's you don't win with 7 Super Bowls by sheer luck. But he had the stat where a certain amount of pressure would half his quarterback rating. So pressure it affects every quarterback, some more than others, and even great ones greatly. So he's been kept clean. He's had an influx of talent. And look at this talent. Hill, number 1 receiver in the league. Waddle, ranked number 8. Connor, number 5 center. Hunt, number 5 guard. My man Tehran is ranked number 14 tackle, but he was much better than that before the injuries. So you've got really, in truth, 3 top 5 offensive linemen and 2 top 10 receivers. And Marino had Clayton and Duper, and when he had them, he was much better than when he didn't. So This is just a realistic context to what Tua is doing. He's been supported, he's been protected, and he has produced. So let's take all this together, and we're going to go over the teams he's played, what kind of defense they've had, and how he has done. And then we'll have one final statement, and then we'll have our analytics diagnostic complete. Week 1 against the Pats, number 4 defense in the league, number 5 pass defense. Remember we were told they're going to have a sucky pass defense? Told a lot of stuff. I guess that's not true. I didn't tell you that, though. Yards, Tua had 270, 1 touchdown, no picks, and 70% completion percentage. Week 2 against the Ravens. 11th ranked defense, 26th ranked pass defense, 469 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks, 72% completion percentage. Week 3 against the Bills, 10th ranked defense, 18th ranked pass defense, 185 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks, 72%. Week 4 against the Bengals, that was an abbreviated game. 9th ranked defense, 8th ranked pass offense, 110 yards, 1 pick, 57% completion percentage. Week 7 against the Steelers, number 27 ranked defense, number 31st ranked pass defense, 261 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, 60% completion percentage. Week 8 against the Lions, 31st ranked defense, 27th ranked pass defense, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, 80% completion percentage. Week 9 against the Bears, 25th ranked defense, 15th ranked pass defense, 302 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, 70% completion percentage. Week 10, Browns, 17th ranked defense, 14th ranked pass defense, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, 78% completion percentage. So there you go. This is Tua on the season. You have his base stats, you have his underlying, under the hood stats, you have the mitigating circumstances and factors, and then you have context. Make your opinion. That's the beauty of it. We will see this last 6 games. This is the critical moment. This, I believe, was a floor evaluation for Tua, and the floor looks really good, no matter what happens. I don't think we'll really get to see the ceiling unless he makes the conference championship or the Super Bowl. I think floor evaluations take a few years and a few big moments. But clearly, pretty good so far. But how good and how will it go and how does that reflect on the past? That's for you to decide. Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well. Go Fins. Talk to you soon. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with AcePerHead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.